big African issue which would like your input on is that issue of the Congo. This is a huge country in terms of population, resources, and yet it is a very miserable country. I mean, they cannot believe how poor the people, the atrocities committed, and then the failure of leadership in Congo. We have a president now whose term ended some time ago and refused to have an election. Where are we going to go from here? I mean, do we need intervention? What kind of intervention? Is it armed intervention? Is it diplomatic intervention? It is sanction? Is it what tools to handle this? Now you have probably one of the best views from here in Rwanda about what's happening in Congo. Personally, you know all the players, and actually some people will blame you. They think you got this guy in power, and frankly, probably, yeah. So
we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So you have some moral responsibility here, Mr. President, and what is the way forward?
One, I was going to take issue with being asked the question about Congo, because I'm asked many times about Congo. But this time I won't take issue because I answered it as the chairman of the African Union.
Yes.
Otherwise, there has...
Not everyone, that's African Union. Yes. That's a great...
So,
yes, so everybody knows here, this is African Union position, yeah.
So otherwise, I think it has been unfair many times for people to ask us about Congo as Rwanda or as the president of Rwanda, but so this helps me. One, for those who may blame Rwanda for what has happened in Congo over the years, well, I don't have any objection to people having their opinion, but Rwanda got involved with the Congo for sure because of a reason. In fact, Congo came to Rwanda first before Rwanda went to Congo. When Mobutu, then the president of Zaire, intervened in our country in 1990 in support of Habyarimana, the president of the country. So it is Congo which came here first, before we went there, and because of our people who had gone there and who were still crossing the border, coming back, they had committed a genocide here, they crossed to Congo, they got support of Congo, then they were coming back intending to, so that's what really created the dynamic in which we got involved. And so I think the rest about Zaire and Mobutu is history, but we can now come to this particular problem. Even if you would say President Roland Kabila, who was there before the present one, who is his son, and so on, that we got involved with him in support of a situation that would help us deal with the problem that was originating from Congo at that time, as I have just explained. So that's how we got involved. But having said that, and many months or years that followed in which we got involved, it was over the same problem. But I think that ended long ago. So which means Congo was left there on its own, its people, its leaders, to sort out whatever problems they had. So you talked about Congo being poor, infrastructure lacking, this and that. Of course, one thing you did not mention is the wealth of the country itself. the wealth, you know, for such a huge, wealthy country to be so poor is characteristic of a problem relating to Africa and how we need to really go about resolving many issues Africa or problems Africa faces. And then comes that problem which you talked about in terms of leadership. Leaders of Africa, wherever they are, leaders shouldn't just be presidents or prime ministers, but these are very important leaders, even others at different levels. The fact that we cannot manage our wealth to deal with our poverty it's a defining issue. As far as I'm concerned, or Africa, as I know it, is concerned, we should be a better place than where we are today, given indeed the leaders we have, whether they are young or old, or men or women, and so on and so forth. And the history which some people referred to earlier, you know, we have to look back in history to know how good Africa was or should have been. But with this time we have to change and then look into the future and say, no, but Africa needs to be like this in the future, learning our lessons we have learned and looking at the rest of the world the way it is. And we ask the question, why? Why should Africa not be like the many places developed as there? So currently we have a Congo situation where there is supposed to be a transition, so to speak. It's not me who created it. I'm just talking about what is there.
As the African Union.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I think there is elections coming up, or supposed to be coming up. The contestation is about whether that is going to happen, and when it is happening, there are disputes about is the current leadership staying, is it stepping aside, and there is a lot of friction going on within and from outside. It's a big problem that people are trying to look at and address. So from the African perspective, or African Union perspective, what is intended is to say, one, I think there have been efforts to bring the Congolese different groups together to agree how to move forward. I think they have secured some kind of agreement as to how they move forward. Now the problem has shifted to being, is this agreement going to be implemented? Because there are signs that, yes, people have reasons to be doubtful. So what the African Union wants is to pursue that route where the internal situation, their leaders continue to talk, and if they need support of neighbors or the international community has already been engaged through the UN, and which has presence there, by the way, it has been having a peacekeeping force there for close to a decade and a half. Yes, yes, close to 20,000. Well, if you asked me what they have done in 15 years, I'm not very sure.
Actually, we have the head of peacekeeping actually who's here. The guy who's managing those guys. I think, where is...
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they are doing...
Okay. Maybe you can explain what they are doing here.
Yes, maybe it will help us. But it's not their problem, it's our problem still. Yes, that people can come and live with us trying to address a problem, and we end up with more problems than we had before they came. That's, it's not their problem, it's ours.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a big problem. We don't know how it is going to be addressed, but I guess as we discuss, maybe the leaders of Congo are listening. They should be figuring out what they need to do, and also maybe let people know where they can help to resolve that problem. Because Congo's problems are not just Congo's problems. They affect us as well, as neighbors. Congo has 9 neighbors. Each one of us is affected by what happens in the Congo. There's no question about it. Some more than others, but everybody is affected. So that's why naturally neighbors have legitimacy to do something or say something about it. And if we can figure out as neighbors how to help the transition in the Congo to happen without affecting us or affecting them so badly, then that's what we should be looking at.
I think we have one of the major opponents of Kabila here was supposed to be main supporter, main candidate for, where is Katumbi? Oh, okay. You are not allowed to go back to the country, correct? Okay, and do you have anything to add what the president said? I mean, is there any hope for a reasonable election in your country?
I think I don't have anything to add at the moment. I think the president has said everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
He's going to be a good politician, this guy. Right. I can go on all night, really. There's so many issues to discuss, but I think we need to open it to people also who want to ask